So hello and welcome to, is this our third or fourth social work research group now?
It's the third one I've been to. I couldn't come last week, so
So
it'll actually
it's,
be the fourth though. Yeah.
yeah, fourth one.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Doug is joining us today. He sent me a message to say that he would join. I think that Doug might be in the process of swapping universities, so I'm not sure if he is going to make today. And then Australian Catholic University that was going to send some social workers, their contact person has been away. So I'm also not sure what's happening there. But before we go on, let me tell you where I am. So I'm en route to Melbourne to go to the International Social Work in Health and Mental Health Conference. And I'm presenting, and I believe that you also might have a sneaky little poster. Is
Yes,
that
yes.
correct?
I've got an e-poster there. Yes,
Okay.
because I
I
couldn't
want
attend, so I've just done an e-poster, which is
okay.
yeah.
I'm coming back to your poster because I want to know some information from a research point of view for that. But I'm currently staying at my friend Danella Cross's property in Mirrawinny. So Danella and her husband run a pet-friendly campground. They live here on a property. They've got this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous rainforest mountain stream, fresh water, no crocodiles, that runs through the property. And campers come and stay here and they can bring their pets. So they can bring snakes, if they want to have a pet snake, or
Yeah,
dogs,
right.
cats, horses, cows, whatever
Yeah.
people have as pets, buffaloes, now that I'm a Northern Territorian.
Yes, yes.
So that's where I'm staying at the moment, and
Oh,
I
how
fly to
lovely.
Melbourne in the morning. So the conference actually starts tomorrow. I'm going to miss the welcome events, but I am meeting up with some social workers that you also know. So I'm staying with Cardine.
Yeah.
So, and are you aware that Cardine's mum just died this week?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
am. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cardine is still coming. Dr. Greta is not coming now. She's had to cancel
I
at the
was
last minute.
very disappointed to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her husband is unwell, so she
Oh,
has
okay.
to
Yeah.
stay and help him. But also Jani and Dr. Don. I'm going
Yeah.
to be having dinner with them tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Yeah.
Wow. It's
Yes.
all happening.
It is all happening. So I'm really interested in your process of putting together the poster. And there is a poster competition. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, it's only for the ones that are actually there, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that because I have looked through all of the titles trying to find your poster and I couldn't find it. So I was very curious. So
Yeah.
tell me about the difference between presenting a poster in person and then presenting it as an online poster. What was that process?
It was just probably, yeah, just about well, my availability to do it, but the process for submitting was exactly the same as, but you would just go the next step and get it printed out and put it up, where I didn't need to go to those steps. It'll just be displayed online.
Okay, so I haven't actually found it online either. Is it on the event page, the international page, or the AASW page?
I don't know. I tried to access it the other day and they said they wouldn't be available until the conference started.
Oh, okay. So that explains why I just can't
Yeah,
locate it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And Anne Marie, what's the title of it?
Um, there you go to make me think. But it's about changing the systems to reduce suicidality is the the words may be a little bit different in the title, but that's the basic thing of what it is. And it's not actually it's not a research based one in the way you think. You know, I set out and did a research project. It's more a research project in that I've put these ideas together and have made a proposal for discussion and hopefully I don't know, action, but about changing, you know, there's a whole heap of things. So moving from, you know, silo funding to you know, place-based stuff that is there's what they call it, the oh gee, the words escape me now. Impact framework anyway. So there's yeah, to fund things differently, where instead of trying to be fixing health and education and that sort of thing, you get together and what you want for your community is a strong community for your kids to grow up in. But then also looking at things like Medicare that only fund specific types of therapy, no matter what works, we'll only fund these specific type of things, and the need to have the truth-telling process to allow healing to happen, you know, like, so it's a whole heap of processes. This is what we're doing now, and this is what is possible. And then we could have an alternative pyramid. So, you know, how we've got the ACEs pyramid, that there's an alternative to that. If we did, instead of doing things this way, we move to this way, well then we'd be basing it on, you know, the truth-telling stuff, on people having better socioeconomic circumstances, that, you know, we'd be giving you know, have strong communities that weren't damaging children's brains before they even had a chance to go anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something that you've been really interested in for a long time, and am I correct in saying that your master's is in suicidality?
Suicidology.
Yeah, ology. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then the ACEs, of course, and that's what I was scanning for when I was looking for your poster. I was looking for the ACEs.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of poster presentations on the ACEs in, I think, in some of the African communities. So I'll be sure to go and photograph them for you.
That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is interesting too, that I remember having a conversation a couple of years ago with you about inverting that, the pyramid.
Yeah.
And, you know, and doing things quite differently. So that interest has led to not only you doing the poster presentation on it, but it's also led into your current PhD project.
It has, yeah. It'll be sort of, it does all connect together, you know. There's different ways I'll have to pursue it a little bit to match with what my scholarship is. So
Yes,
there's
of
some
course.
boundaries around that. But yeah, that is the underlying thing of it, and it's how to creatively match the two. And I think I'm getting there on that.
Yeah, okay. It takes a lot of thinking. Like, I've got 12 months left of, you can do a PhD in 3 years. But I'm chopping 6 months off mine. So I've got 12 months left. And I am only just now very comfortable with what I'm doing. And I'm able to seriously write to my chapters because I'm finally clear in my head. But so it takes a lot of time. And I'm the same as you with scholarship rules. So my scholarship rules are on lived experience. And of course, looking at, well, you were one of my participants. So you know that it was about a life-changing experience for people and whether or not they read Brene Brown and what do they get out of that. So it does all eventually link together. But I've recently, just a couple of weeks ago, I presented for CDU, Charles Darwin University, and another presenter said a couple of words that it just went click for me. And what she said was that her PhD with the reading was only 1 meter wide, but 10 meters deep.
Yeah.
And that finally clicked for me because I just read so widely. Stop reading widely, Megan. Read 1 meter wide, but go 10 meters deep. Yeah. But it's taken me 18 months to actually have that click in my head.
Yeah. One of the other things with my poster thing that I told you I'd been introduced to this draw group, the writing differently. And so I've actually done the writing on my poster instead of doing the usual thing is to do what the problem is, the method, what you came up with and all that sort of thing. I've wrote it instead in a poem. I'm actually quite pleased with it. Like it isn't done in the traditional way of doing a poster, and I'm really happy about that. But it says
wonderful.
So it says what I want it to say, but it's meant to provoke thinking and that sort of thing. And I actually, after doing it, because when I was putting my abstract in, I really had to work on how to make what I wanted to do fit with what they're asking for in an abstract, because if it doesn't fit with their traditionally thing, you don't get to put it out there. But then I thought, well, actually they need to broaden what they ask for, because you want ideas as well as just, I've gone out, I've done this is what I found. But things that spark ideas and that people can go, oh, yeah, maybe I could try this in this way in my place or whatever, or yeah, this bit clicks with me. Because they can be quite dry, the research posters.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. And abstracts too can be quite dry. And there's 5 elements that have to go into an abstract for a journal editor to even go, or reviewer to go, yep, we accept this now, let's have a look at your paper. It's got to cover those 5 things. So it is really, really difficult when you want to push the boundaries and you want to be creative, but you also want to get across the line. Because
if you don't get to put your ideas out there, well, you haven't actually achieved anything. Anyway.
And I actually do understand the rules around it, because there has to be robustness around research. Otherwise, a single opinion could be classed as research. No, I feel this way, therefore it's true. No, it has to be tried and tested. So I get the robustness, but it's just so frustrating at times.
I suppose there's the robustness of I'm thinking synchronizing, but that's not quite the right word, of putting together the different evidence bases that already exist, but linking them a bit
Differently.
differently, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sort of, yeah.
So do
Get
you know
going.
that bibliotherapy, and
Yeah.
this is my area, so bibliotherapy is a passive form of psychoeducation, which is allowed under Medicare, right?
Mm.
So bibliotherapy is very, very creative. And originally, poetry was used in bibliotherapy. So there is an evidence base already for the use of poetry if you class it as bibliotherapy. So I have found that I only know what I know, like all of us, we only know what we know. But in doing that really deep reading, I'm finding all of these interesting things and saying, damn, I wish I knew that before. Like
Yeah.
the poetry, like I've used bibliotherapy for ever. You know, I've been a social worker for over 30 years and I've always used bibliotherapy. I love it. But I didn't realize that it actually rose from the use of poetry in therapeutic settings.
Mm.
So
I
there you go.
saw just the other day, it's totally on a different thing, but you know, like I love using the window of tolerance type
Mm,
stuff
mm.
to show people like you know, how all that works. But then somebody using that with a kid, instead of them, you know, using you know, a thermometer or whatever to show where they're at
Tolerance level is
and
that? Yeah.
where it's changing, but to like map it just like you do on a, you know, if you were drawing a window of tolerance and you've got pushed outside your window and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. But a kid just drawing like the course of their day and what happened at those particular points. So it's sort of like a map rather than a just up and down thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really, really clever. I really like that. And it's so simple but just, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I wonder if we get trapped into being literal thinkers when we're studying, or when
Mm,
we're trying to, well, certainly with the Medicare stuff and mental health social work, you know, having to only use those interventions that are allowable under the system, it forces us into a linear presentation. But you and I are both very creative and lateral thinkers.
yeah.
So that the person who's done, you know, displayed it as the
Yeah.
map, that's lateral thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we need to be exposed to that as much as we're exposed to the academic stuff. Otherwise,
Mm,
we're going to become very, very boring.
yeah.
Yeah, only doing all of the academic stuff all the time.
Yeah. No, I found some really yeah, creative academic people. So
Oh,
that's been really good.
yes, and they are there. Like
Yeah.
that, and in all different disciplines. And of course, you know that I am madly in love with Professor Tara Brabazon, and she really pushes the creative PhD.
Mm,
That PhDs are not just what they used to be. They can be very creative. It still has to meet standards,
mm.
but it's not as solid as it used to be. I'm sorry, there's a cat that's just climbed up the door. So if you heard something, yeah. And it's lovely for me because I like cats. So I'm back surrounded by cats again. Yeah.
Cats. Yes.
Yeah, which is very nice. Anyway. So how are you going with all of the research since we last spoke?
Yeah, good. I've just been working on the background of education and care in Normanton. And that's been really interesting. There's a whole heap of information that like I've known and I've shared with lots of other people because I believe they need to know, like the Aboriginal history of the Normanton area and that sort of thing. And like there's how up until I think it was 1956, the local people actively protested the allowing Aboriginal kids at the school. That there was the Inland Mission was doing some schooling up the hill where the mission was, the camps were. Yeah, and it wasn't sort of until 1970 that they started having houses to live in town. And I've just found a document this morning that is from 1973. It was published in the Aboriginal Child at School, and they opened the Carpentaria Kindergarten, and it was a all preschool children, regardless of racial origin, are eligible to attend. It says something. It was the preschool is it's an instrument of integration in the community. So
what year is that? 74.
73. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just really interesting because I've sort of some of the stuff of, instead of fixing the socioeconomic stuff and the trauma and that sort of thing, they've gone, yes, send them all to daycare. And I've sort of gone, well, that's like taking the children away or assimilation or whatever,
Yeah.
and I've actually found stuff written from Canada and that along the same lines. Yeah, but it'll be interesting. I've got my first supervision session on Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's a bit exciting, but yes, we'll see how my thinking goes.
Are you going in with a list of questions for your PhD supervision, or how are you doing that?
I've sent them some stuff, and I've sent them some writing I've done that's got some question stuff in it, and I have sent them a specific question because I've found it really confusing, because with having Aboriginal subjects brings a whole new ethics thing
Yes, correct.
into it. And they've got about developing the research question, with the community and that sort of thing. But then you need ethics before you do anything. So you're sort of deciding on what you're doing before you talk to the people, which sounds like the way we do funding.
Yeah, it does. It's that inverse pyramid again.
Yeah.
But this is the way it's got to be. But you could at least begin, I guess, preliminary discussions with some people or have some advisors.
Yeah, but then is actually part of your research. And then they've got big things saying you don't start your research till you've got ethics approval.
Yeah. But you could make it not part of your research by just having conversations with people to act as advisors. It's very, very mucky. Yeah. But do you have an Indigenous supervisor as well, or not?
No, I don't. No. But
okay.
But yeah, like I'll be working with Indigenous advisors here, and that won't be a problem. But I just think that, because what they say to me will be used in my research, because how do you separate what they say here to what they say here?
Yeah, well, absolutely, because then that becomes part of your methodology.
Yeah.
I began by talking to, this is very interesting. But as Tara Brabazon always says, put the problem into the work. So this is going to be something that you are going to discuss in a chapter where you're talking about how you decided what to do. Because this is a real issue, particularly when you live in an Indigenous area and a lot of people would have no idea how that operates. So
No.
you have the living experience that other people wouldn't. Yeah, very
But
interesting.
it's quite yeah, because like I want to do the right thing for the people, the right thing for
Of
uni.
course. Yeah.
And yeah, it's very mixed messages, that it's like, to me it sounds like you're ticking the boxes for the uni. But how you actually do that in real life is not actually given to you.
Yeah. So I'll be very interested to hear what your supervisors have to say about this. So next Monday, this has got to be a topic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of next Monday, where am I? Next Monday, I will be traveling back to Nhulunbuy. So I'm actually not sure that I will make. Oh, yes, I will. Because what time do I leave, Danella? Do you remember? Do I leave at lunchtime on Monday? I think so. Yeah, all right. So I will be online, but I'll be in a coffee shop somewhere, I'd say.
Right, yeah. Well, that'll
Yeah.
be nice. I'll join you in a coffee. But after that, I've probably got a couple I'll be away for. I'm going cruising and seeing my dad and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all right. I will still be here. If Doug joins us, if ACU joins us, that's great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will just do a very brief research thing and stick it on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
Just so that we can keep the momentum going.
I think it's great. Yeah. And it's great being able to have the discussion. Yeah.
Well, it's helpful. Doing a PhD can be so isolating, and you turn yourself inside out with questions, or not even questions, just queries about, can I do it like this? Can I do it like that? There is absolutely strength in peers discussing what they're doing at a PhD level. And passing on little things like 1 meter wide, 10 meters deep.
10 meters deep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be doing silent writing today because Danella and I are on our way up to Atherton.
Well, you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, is there anything that I can bring you back from Melbourne, from the conference?
No, but yeah, if there's any, like interesting bits that you want, it can send me in the direction of, that will be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So they've done an event app, and all of the posters that are being presented, now that I know that it's only those presented, they're all there on the app already. So I mark a couple of the ACES ones to make sure that I go and take photographs for you.
Yeah.
And anything else that I think is going to be helpful, and contacts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that'll be awesome. Thank you.
Most welcome. It's always wonderful to see you, Anne-Marie.
You too.
Right,
my day.
I'll see you later.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.